Hi, I'm Corinne, and welcome to Goodbye Gluten, where
saying goodbye to gluten does not mean saying goodbye to great food and great taste.
So please like this video, share it with friends, and subscribe to our channel.
3, 2.
So today we are going to make a pumpkin pie. It's fall, we're getting ready to think for the holidays, and it's time to start thinking pumpkin. I have what's called a pie pumpkin here. It's a small pumpkin, and these make wonderful homemade pumpkin pie. If you don't have access to these, or let's say it's February and you're considering, thinking I want a pie, you can use canned pumpkin. The key here is that it's just pure pumpkin. You can also substitute a squash for it. The other thing is I'll be using an old family recipe from my mom's Good Housekeeping cookbook. This was in 1964 originally published, and I still pull recipes out of it today. So the first thing you're going to want to do is make your gluten-free pie crust. We have a link here to our gluten-free pie crust recipe. You'll want that pie shell to be partially baked. So typically bake it for about 5 minutes to set the crust. So here's what we're going to need today. First, we need our pumpkin, obviously. So in addition to our pumpkin, we're going to need 2 eggs, some ginger, cinnamon, cloves, and nutmeg. We'll need sugar, and then some type of a milk. Most recipes will call for evaporated milk. You can use that. You can use coconut milk, which is what I'll be using today, or you can also use dairy-free milk or milk alternative. So first things first, let's get started on our pumpkin. So obviously, if you're using canned pumpkin, you can skip this step. First thing to do is to take a look at your pie pumpkin.
Pumpkin, take 2.
So you'll want to double check your pumpkin, make sure there's no stickers or anything like that on it. And then you'll take a knife, a sharp knife, a good cutting board, and cut it in half. You may need somebody taller or stronger than you to do this. Ha, I did it, yay. And inside is our lovely pumpkin. And from here, it's scrape out the seeds. So now I've got the guts out of these, got all the seeds, most of them, and everything. Still a little bit stringy, and that's okay. I'm going to put it cut side down on my cookie sheet, and these will go into the oven and roast for about 30 minutes. So it's been just under 30 minutes. It's nice and soft. What you want to be looking for when you're doing this is for it to be soft. You can see kind of how the skin pulls away. So we've taken this out of the oven. You want to bake it until it's soft. Maybe check it depending on the size. It might take a little longer than 30 minutes. You can see how this is deflated. It has sat out on the counter for about 10 minutes because, again, we want to be able to handle it. So what I'm going to do, ooh, look at that yummy goodness. I'm going to actually scrape this into the food processor. This is why it sits for about 10 minutes, is because you need to be able to handle it. And that's how you know it's done, is the skin just peels right off. Another thing you could do is just put it right into a large bowl. Maybe a large mixing bowl that you can peel this off of. So, and again, this is a step in your pumpkin pie. You can skip if you're using something from a can. This does have a little bit richer flavor. It will maybe not be as dark a color as what you might get out of the can. But again, it's really good. So. We've got this in here. We're going to puree it so that it is smooth texture. You can also do this with, you know, a fork and a masher or in a blender. You don't have to have a food processor. It's still really hot, so you do want to be aware of that. Let's check this. Oh, yum. Look at that yummy pumpkin-y goodness. That's nice and pureed. So we'll let this cool down some more before we put it into our bowl.
Look at that beautiful pumpkin puree. It is gorgeously orange. Now we're going to let it drain for about an hour. So we got our stuff all ready to go. I got our spice mix, which is, so we have our spice mix, a teaspoon of cinnamon, which is awesome, half a teaspoon of salt, basically a large pinch, the 1/4 teaspoon of ginger, nutmeg, and clove. If you like a little bit more ginger or one of the other spices, go ahead and add them. And here is that gorgeous pumpkin puree. It's now been drained a good amount. I got out about, a cup and a half of water out of that just by letting it sit that long. Then we got 3 eggs. I actually added an extra egg to what my wife was telling you guys because, well, she's not here at the moment. There's the oven preheating. And then I got a cup of coconut milk. You could do evaporated milk. I do not like the sweetened condensed milk. That you can't control your sugar at all.
All right, I have our partially pre-baked pie crust. What I found is with gluten-free pie crust specifically, if you pre-bake it a little bit, you get a better chance at the bottom of the crust actually being done in your pie. You can also, if you don't want to do pie crust, maybe you don't have it, or you just don't want pie crust, you don't want to make it, you can make this as a custard and not put it in a pie crust. Just put it in your pie plate or a casserole dish. That'll makes a really good custard. So this is ready to go into a 425-degree oven for 15 minutes. Then we'll drop the temperature down to 350 for 35 minutes.
So put the pie in your preheated oven at 450 degrees, bake for 15 minutes, reduce down to 350, and then bake for another 45 to 50 minutes. You'll know it's done when it doesn't jiggle and it doesn't look wet.
Out of the oven, put on a wire rack and let it cool for at least an hour until it's cool to the touch. Now look at that, folks, how well it nicely set up. It's not orange because it's a natural pumpkin. So when you do pumpkin pies from a can, they're going to be a little bit more brighter orange. I'm thinking that maybe from the food dye or because they use yams. Okay, let's just go ahead and plate this baby. Okay, this is my favorite part of the videos. Now, I love pumpkin pie. I'm the firm believer that a good pumpkin pie, you don't need any whipped cream, but I'm also the person who loves a mound of whipped cream on my pumpkin pie. Sometimes you can't even see the pumpkin pie, but this time we're going without it. That is really good. It's not super rich. As you can see, it's nice. It's a firm pie, but not too firm. Not a whole lot of spices. I know some people like a lot of spice. Some people like very little. That is a really good pumpkin pie. True factor of pumpkin pie is a lot of people in my family are like this. That crust is really good too. So I hope you guys enjoy your holiday season. Hope you enjoy this pumpkin pie. Share this video with all your friends and family. And remember what we always say here at Goodbye Gluten. Saying goodbye to gluten does not mean saying goodbye to great food and great taste. Have a great night.